Social partners at the 29th annual Nedlac Summit have made fresh commitments to the implementation of a social compact in line with the work of the Government of National Unity. The summit gathered Labour, government and the community as well as business for a reflection of the work of social partners 30 years on. Now they want to, through the dialogue, drive inclusive growth and job creation, reducing poverty and tackling the high cost of living. Deputy President Paul Mashatile delivered the keynote address at the Nedlac and SABC News economics reporter Katlego Legodi was there.
The 2024 Nedlac Summit drawing to a close with a commitment from social partners on ensuring that there's enhanced dialogue and ensuring also that the social impact or compact is implemented here in line with the needs of the economy and social welfare of residents and the public in general. We see those social partners, government, the public as well in terms of communities. We see Labour as well and just coming through as well to ensure that they thresh out and reflect on the past 30 years of the implementation of these social dialogues that are falling under Nedlac. What we saw today was the Deputy Minister or the Deputy President Paul Mashatile delivering a keynote address. He was also joined by the Minister of Employment and Labour, Nomakosazana Meth, who also delivered the work that they've been doing over time with social partners. Really, when you look at unemployment at the center of the crisis that we have here at home, also them being frank about how they need to plan for the future in line with various scenarios that will see the economy not growing as they would want it to grow. I'm going to bring the Minister into the conversation now to really reflect with us in terms of what came out throughout the day. We see solidifying the commitment to ensure that Nedlac does not fail. These social dialogues continue. Also, there was a report that was handed over to the new Government of National Unity to ensure that at least the triple crisis are attended to through this social dialoguing. Welcome to the SABC. Give us a sense of how important is it that we take stock of where we come from in the 30 years, but also to look forward to the future where these social partners are concerned.
Good afternoon to you and your viewers at home. Indeed, it is a very important gathering that we just had. It's an annual summit of Nedlac, and we are celebrating 30 years of the existence of Nedlac. As we all know that the first democratically elected government enacted a law, Nedlac Act, which then caused us to have this particular very important platform for social dialogue, where you've got government, communities, business and labor represented to help government, to advise government on all the things that talk to the economy, economic growth, employment, and across the board, all issues that need support or a voice of the organized sectors. And it's a unique arrangement that I think it is hailed in the world, in the continent. The work that we do through this Nedlac, which is bringing together sectors that would ideally have opposing views if you talk of labor and business, but also the important aspect of it where we draw all these, the government, we draw it from the communities, the business serves the communities, and even labor employees come from the communities. So it's a very unique arrangement that has helped us in South Africa to be where we are here today. It's worth to celebrate it. So we're here, as we are correctly saying, to say here is the work that was done by Nedlac, giving it to government and saying we are part of you. But it's quite very exciting to even see how they were very proactive to even identify priorities as social partners, which exactly the 5 priorities talk to the 3 priorities of the government of GNU, which to me is amazing because it says then government and the social partners are in sync in saying what should happen, having learned, of course, from the previous experiences, the work that Nedlac has done in ensuring that there is legislation reforms that were brought since 1994, in particular the legislation that talks to the rights of workers, the talk of Labor Relations Act, to talk of basic conditions of Employment Act, employment equity, just to mention a few, but the most recent one is the national minimum wage. It is because of the work of this Nedlac that we have these very progressive laws that talk to the protection and defense of workers' rights in South Africa.
When can we see the social compact becoming a reality, looking at the fact that there have been those ideological differing views that have not seen this compact implemented as the way that it should be implemented? The document that was submitted to the GNU, does it speak to the social compact, and when can we start seeing the ball rolling where that is concerned?
Actually, it's amazing how prophetic Nedlac looks to be like, because as I said, their 5 priorities are now GNU priorities that they came up with even in June before we have GNU. Again, they were the social dialoguing and social compact platform of discussing issues where all these important stakeholders come together as social partners. The Government of National Unity, again, is a government that I think can learn a lot from what Nedlac has done, in particular when it talks to issues of consensus, agreeing on very strategic issues, so that you put aside a few things that you don't agree with, but move on with the majority of things that you are able to agree. Hence, you see a lot of legislations, a lot of even amendments and structures that are as a result of the work that is done by Nedlac. So I think GNU shall learn a lot from Nedlac, and social compacting, I'm sure, is coming because President continues to call upon everybody. Hence now his last call to say, let's have a national dialogue, which I believe Nedlac will contribute a lot to that national dialogue, which will bring all parties closer to each other for social compact.
And just briefly before we let you go, you're the Minister of Employment and Labour, and we see really unemployment as an apex crisis in the country right now. How do we close those gaps? Where are we? How do we actually approach this in a different way that will see actually people getting the best out of these dialogues, but also people getting the jobs that are well needed in the society?
Actually, we are very happy as just the Employment and Labour Department or Ministry that the GNU has chosen three key priorities. The first one being inclusive growth and job creation. The second one being the issue of the standard of living, cost of living, and reduction of poverty. And the third one, which to me is a foundation, capable and ethical state. We believe if then we work together as this GNU government to ensure that the growth that we are talking about, the economic growth that we are targeting is our priority. It's not just growth, but it is a job-creating growth, which is something that because of many calamities, because of many endemics and pandemics that we've experienced, remember, 2008 to 2009, we had economic crisis in the world. When we were starting to see the impact in 2014, then we were picking up to recover. Came 2019, 2020, the pandemic of COVID-19. So we had the recovery, reconstruction and recovery plan, which we are seeing now the work that it has done. So we are starting to pick up, and we are hoping, working together and ensuring that business plays an important role, working with government with very conducive legislations and policy reforms to ensure that government works with the business to create these jobs, because it can't be government alone. So we need the business, hence the importance of this platform.
All right. Minister, thank you very much for your time. Everything of the best in terms of the department that she leads here. And you hear her saying that they have work cut out for them in ensuring that they close some of these gaps, structural gaps hampering the economy and things that are not moving the way that we'll see the jobs created today. We had them also explaining that climate change is presenting another dimension of a challenge here that they'll need to tackle. The technology, the advances there, they'll need to also ensure that they close those gaps in ensuring social welfare and the cushioning of the economy so we see growth. I'm Katlego for SABC News in Sandton.